Welcome to the Intentionally Random broadcast, where the topics are intentionally random and randomly intentional. This day marks the completion of the last day of the first month of the year. And like last week, we're doing a virtual check in for an internal checkup. Tonight, we will peruse the topic of perseverance, what it means to us, what it costs us, and finally finding common ground in the shared spaces of exhaustion, pacing, and reignition after after the must needed periods of rest and reform. I'm gonna get it together, y'all. So join us
at Anthony's Too Real
and yours truly at Tina Mo for show as we conquer the conquests of the grind while leaving self-sabotaging situations in the rearview mirror as we continue our journey to peace, prosperity, and wholeness rather than auctioning off ourselves wholesale, cheapening our experience, and selling ourselves short of our just due. So if you would, lend us your ears, your thoughts, and a little bit of your undivided attention as we endeavor to stop in the name of love, breathe, and continue moving forward. Let's step into the real. Hello, everybody. Hello. I see BOK is in the building. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to these here Chapmans. Simply sunshine moments. I see you as well. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. And of course, as always, see Brit Family Fun, we affectionately call Lady Yo. Yolanda, we see you. We appreciate you for coming in here. Greetings and salutations as our first arrival. Welcome to the Chapmans. And last but not least, how you doing, Anthony?
Tina. I am breathing, blinking, and blessed. So I don't have no complaints. I'm thankful. I'm excited to be here. How you feeling?
I feel you on that. I don't know if I'm just excited or I'm just nervous, but for whatever reason, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go today. If I ain't ready
Okay.
any other day. My energy is on 10. My
Okay.
nervousness is on 20. And
Okay.
so I'm just like, okay, what we gonna do today? And
What we
so,
doing?
you okay?
I'm here. I'm on. Yes, I'm here. No, I say. So you ready? What we doing?
Well, I see we have one more person to come into the chat. Corey's World is in the building. Just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge you all. You and I think I see Danielle came in the building as well. She over here talking about some, hey y'all, from my tardiness. I hate I had to leave your line early. But Corey, we want to most certainly welcome you into the space. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. And just Danielle 365. We appreciate you for coming into this space. We just getting started. I barely got to read the introduction that I stumbled, fumbled, and tripped over while I was reading for whatever reason. You'd have thought I didn't write it. But want to most certainly invite you into the space, welcome you into the space. Greetings and salutations again. Welcome to the Chapmans. When I tell you that this is one of those days where I'm like, I am reeling in nervousness, and it's not often that that happens to me. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I feel nervous every time I have to do this, but this level of nervousness,
Okay.
I feel like I'm doing a recital or something. Like I'm about to uh play guitar. Something I don't play well, in front of some people. And I'm like, who why do I feel this right here? I
Mm.
don't know. I see my cousin has entered into the space somewhere. Um, don't know where she is. I don't see her in my chat, but I do see her in the chat. But I just wanted to acknowledge you. I don't know why I'm not getting everything. I don't know, but I do see you. Yo, baby, yo. I see you, cuz, and just wanted to acknowledge you. And that's going to be okay. Greetings and salutations, cuz the Black Love Permissionist is in our space today. And welcome to the Chapmans. So glad that you hanging out with us tonight. About my cousin, and how come I can't find the people? Oh, I see her. Okay. Matter of fact, I need to start over and I guess and start acknowledging the chat properly. Cause you know how they come and they comment, and I like to at least post what they've said. But when
Okay.
I tell you, I had been hop, skip, jump, crawled over the wall and ran down the street in my mind, and I need to come back to reality or something because it's rough out here in these young streets. At least for me today. But I'm so glad that all of you all have decided to come in and hang out with us. Um, oh, thank you, Sunshine. She said, "I love the music, so inviting."
Mm.
I'm glad you feel invited. That's about all I can say, but I'm glad you feel invited. We try to make it as warm as possible. Now, I don't have the blankets and the sheets, and you can be making no pallet or nothing over here because that's what we do over there with the cousin them. But over here, feel free to hang out in these chats as long as we got this good hour going because that's how long we're going to be talking today. And we're going to get on out your faces if you don't mind. Uh, when I tell you that this is one of those days where I'm like, I'm ready to get the show on the road and get the road, get back to the road after the show. Hmm.
Okay.
Yes, be okay. Said breathing, blinking, and blessed. We got a greetings coming from Corey. Whew.
Hello
But
to
yeah,
everyone in the chat. Hey y'all. Hello everyone.
yeah, because you rarely ever get a chance to speak. I just be talking on and on and on, and you be wanting to talk to the people and hear what happened to me. I just be like, and the subject is.
No, Tina.
You don't even get to
I be
wave at the
trying to
people,
speak to
let them
them,
know you
but
even in here.
you
I'm
know,
sorry
we
about that.
have like an order of things, and I know they get it. I think y'all know, right, that I'm not ignoring y'all. I be like in my head mentally speaking back to all of y'all, but I do like hop in, I mean jump in and tell y'all hey. So hey everybody that said hey to me and hey to everybody else. Thank y'all so much for being here. This is a heavy topic. It's heavy. I had made a shorts about it earlier just to like, like let people know because I didn't know who may need to hear it. And I think stick to it. I was like, when you think about it, like when you hear that word, what do you think? And he was like, loaded. And I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, it's the yeah, y'all. Now my heart beating off fast, but we got this.
Uh, yeah, I don't need both our hearts beating fast because who gonna take over if one of us faint? You ain't allowed to faint because I don't know how to get to Florida. So, uh, but what I can say is, I'm actually appreciative of the topic. It's just that it's one of those things that is so near and dear to me. We're talking about perseverance today, and I get another distraction to give me a couple more seconds to settle my nerves with the real odds and evens entering into the building. Hey, Tina and Danielle, and now he's speaking to all the people. Black Love, Faith, Yolanda. So glad that you decided to hang out with us today. I think you are the first gentleman of the hour to come in and hang out with us. So glad that you decided to come and kick it with us. And greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. Coach Mean Ring, so glad that you decided to share the space with us this evening. We won't be before you long, and I'm not saying that just to sound preachy. I literally mean I'm gonna drop it and get out of here. But we're so glad that you decided to hang out with us. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to these here Chatmans. Whew, oh Jesus. I mean Lord. Oh God. I'm gonna tell you why I'm so thank you. I feel welcomed in. I'm so glad you feel welcomed. I love it when y'all feel welcome because we want to welcome you for as long as we're gonna be here. But which leads me to my point. This is one of those subjects that I find rather heavy because not necessarily that the subject matter in and of itself is heavy, so
Mm-hmm.
much as what I think about it or what all I consider. When it comes to perseverance, it's one of those things, and that is the topic for those of you all who don't know, didn't look at it, didn't see it. It was too little for you to read it. I don't know whether to tell you to turn your device to the side so you can see it in big form, blow it up in some kind of way, watch it on your TV, put it on a laptop. But the topic tonight is perseverance. And that was the only word that I wanted to use mainly because it's such a for it to be one word, it has so many. Baby, I wish you could put. Can you put this in English? Can you put this in English? Can you put this portion in English? I love you. Thank you. Okay. Or I don't know if I even said your name right. But what I can tell you is greetings and salutations. Welcome to these here Chapmans. Don't know. Matter of fact, I don't even know what is that on your page, or is
Is
that?
that on my page?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to go look. I don't gotta go to my chat. I'm just in StreamYard.
Oh, okay. Well, don't even worry about it. They'll be okay. We got well, they ain't over there on mine, so I don't know what the people doing. But what I can say is, I hope you feel well. I'm so glad you felt welcome to come on in here and hang out with us, ladies. And don't know if you a sir or a ma'am, but what I can tell you is, um, greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. Hopefully, you have your translator on so that'll give you some kind of idea of what we're talking about. I can't exactly tell if that what language that is. Some of it looks to be a little like it looks a little bit like Chinese, a little bit. It kind of looks like Chinese to me, but I can't tell if that's Chinese, and most certainly no wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between Chinese and Japanese. But I have seen some differences. But whatever the case may be, I can't write it, I can't read it. I don't know what you're saying. So if you could translate that, that would be great for all of us. But nevertheless, we're so glad that you're here, and thanks for hanging out with us. But back to what I was saying about perseverance. Oh, we didn't fool around and got international. Um, I don't even know how we did that. Yeah,
It's
you
on
know
my
what?
screen.
It just dawned on me. I think about how when it comes to perseverance, you think about the word perseverance, and you might think of an athlete, that's running track or something like that, and it takes perseverance to get to. Look at this one. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that. I'm over here laughing at it's definitely waiting. You got that right, Yolanda. Um Amen International. Whew, I know, right? Something else today. Um, but I think about the weightiness of the term in that it automatically denotes that I have gone to a certain point where I had energy. Um, I've had a portion of stamina. I've met a place where it's like a wall. Not necessarily a wall that I can't get through, but it's not easy. I would even go so far as to say I met a wall in my body. My body is still able to keep going. However,
Mm.
um, the process of pushing it further is painful.
Mm.
to some degree. Now it's not so painful where I need to go to the hospital, but it is so painful that it's drawing my attention. It is just enough causes me to notice it just enough to where it has caused me to feel uneasy. It has caused me to feel um like there's a bell going off, in my mind. There's a
Mhm.
bell going off in my body. There's a bell going off in my environment. There's something that's happening on the backside of things that don't it doesn't necessarily have my undivided attention, but what it does is it has enough of my attention to where the things that I would continue to do, there's some added strain to. There's some added um there's some things added to it that's just not allowing my situation to be as easy as it normally would. I could
Okay.
go through these type of things emotionally. I could go through it physically. Sometimes you can go through things financially that will cause you to have that strain. And when I say perseverance, I'm talking about you not coming to the place where you completely stop. It's just the fact that I'm going. And anybody that knows anything about running, um, they'll tell you that after so long, the buildup of lactic acid is the reason why you feel pain. And
Mm.
so sometimes I think about that as it pertains to what things have I allowed to build up in the back of my mind that is starting to show up? What things have I not addressed that I needed to talk about, or I needed to face, or I needed to deal with that has been, underneath the surface irritating me, underneath the surface kind of, unnerving me a little bit to the point where I'm still going, but it's the but for me, you know. Um, uh, Pause.
Like you going and just going.
Mhm. Not going just to be going, but it's the thing of going while experiencing a stretch of some sort. Um, the reason why I say perseverance has these elements is because it's not so much as you've come to a complete stop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming up on. Let me read this because I'm over here tripping. I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain. That song comes to mind when I hit the wall and have to keep pushing. Hmm. Yeah, it's a climb. It's a climb, and the higher that you go, the further that you go, the more that you feel somewhat of a gravity pulling at you.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's trying to keep you from easily ascending to the next place or easily going to the next place as you're trekking through life. Um, there are a lot of people I feel like that are experiencing the stresses and the strains of perseverance. And I
Mm-hmm.
say stresses and strains because in perseverance, there is some positive aspects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the thing done. I'm doing the thing. You know, I have my activities, I have my responsibilities,
Mm-hmm.
I have my goals set. I'm in motion. I've been doing what I've been doing a while. Perseverance always denotes a period of time of doing something as well. Um, all of the different components as it pertains to perseverance, good and bad. You have um, the areas in which it's long,
Mm-hmm.
the area in which things are arduous. The thing about perseverance for me though has been, how do I continue to move forward when I am tired of something? when I feel like what used to motivate me, my motivation is now waning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing the things, but there's something bothering me. I'm still in motion, but something keeps tapping me. I remember talking to you earlier, Antonice, about how it reminds me of having a child. And those of you all who have children may know what I, or have been around kids, you know what I'm talking about. You got a little kid. They ain't tall enough to do nothing for themselves, besides maybe going to the restroom, and even that might be iffy, especially if they're being potty trained.
Mm-hmm.
But here they are. You might be in the kitchen or something, and the kid walks up, "Hey, I need you to get so and so." Maybe on the shelf. Could be a toy or something like that. And at the moment, it doesn't seem to be that important. So you keep doing what you're doing. They keep tapping you, mom, dad, aunt, auntie, whoever you are, babysitter, homie down the street, whatever you, whoever you are to that child. There are times where they could be just tap, tap, tapping on you. Like it reminds me, oh, that reminds me of Stewie on Family Guy. It was like, Ma, mommy, ma, ma, ma. And you hear that going over and over and over again. Whew. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, it's coming. I knew it was coming. um, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm trying to do something right now. Will you leave me alone? Whatever it is that's going on in the back of my mind is not as important as what I have in front of me. And so that child keeps on, keeps on. Then one or two things happen. Either that child starts kicking and screaming in the floor because you are not paying them any attention, or, which may be worse, depending on how you look at it, they go and try to do it on their own. So you're no longer involved in this process of whatever that thing was that was irritating you. And I'm finna bring it home in just a second. What are the things that's trying to get your attention? What things are knocking at your door that you're trying to keep at bay? Hope they kind of go away because you're busy. I'm doing the things. I'm doing what is necessary. I'm taking care of whatever needs to be taken care of right now. And what I have in front of me is more important. What's eating away at you? And this is what happens. Something falls, something screams. And now the thing that if you had gone ahead and paid attention to now becomes an emergency. You
Mm.
may still feel like it's not as important as what I'm doing right now, but now I have to pay it attention because the baby is in the floor kicking and screaming. I got to deal with it because I can't step on the baby. You can't just kick the baby like a football. You got to deal with the fact you got a baby down there. You trying to boil the water for the pasta. You don't want to get hot water on the baby while they kicking in the floor in the kitchen. That's one aspect. The other aspect is what happens when the thing goes away. What happens when the thing that needed to have your attention, needed to get your attention, begins to unravel on its own? What happens when that kid goes in the closet and tries to climb up, knowing they too little to be climbing anything, goes and tries to get something off the top shelf in their room, or goes and tries to get something off a shelf that's too high for them, that has other items that can break, of course, along the way? What does that represent? The things that we allow to be out of hand, get out of hand, because we won't pay it any mind. And it causes us to stop what we're doing rather than pause what we're doing. I want to pause for a second and read what Danielle said. She said, I hear that, Tina. I be wanting to quit every 2 days. Me too. We get weary in well doing sometimes. Even a good work is still work.
Mm.
Hey, Faith. See you. So glad that you made it in and hanging out with us tonight. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans.
Hey.
Hey. Um, but when I tell you that there have been so many times where um we can't come to a place where we're willing to neglect everything that's going on in our minds. It's
That's
there
so.
for a reason. It's there for a reason. Sometimes we have alarms going off,
Mm-hmm.
and it's there for a reason. What perseverance denotes a lot of times is just the fact that, yes, I'm ignoring all of the pain. Yes, I'm ignoring all of the signs that tell me I should quit. I need to quit. I need to pause because I got to do what I got to do. I ain't
Mm.
got time to be taking off no 2 weeks, 5 months, 13 days, and all of that. I need to keep going. But in the process of perseverance, a part of that is also rest. And
Mm.
don't nobody want to believe it. It is. I'm so how I'm a rest when I got to do what I got to do. How is it that I'm going to rest when I have all these other things that I'm doing 50, 11 things? How
Yeah.
in the world would I be able to really rest when there's only 24 hours in a day and I got, at least 16 of them dedicated to doing what I got to do. And I got to sleep. And I got to figure out how to eat. And I got to put my clothes on. And I got to dress the children. And I might have a husband or something like that I got to tend to. It ain't
Okay.
but so many hours in a day.
I
Or
say that.
you said what?
I used to say that. Like, how can I do all of that? How can I do all this and I only have 24 hours?
Hmm.
But then it's like, okay, then I started thinking, okay, well, everybody else got 24 hours too. They get it done. So, like, what's going on? So then I am now working on organizing my time and stuff. I wasn't like really utilizing my time. I spent a lot of time, like persevering, but like with me realigning my time, it works a little better for me. I notice I get more things done. So I had to learn how to execute, I guess, or just realign, like refocus. That was me, like just going, like just constantly going because I felt like, because like, I don't know, Tina, it's like you learn that like persevering is just continuing to go, like no rest. It's not like I didn't grow up learning that it's how like now, okay, knowing when I need to like pause or stop. Because when you think about it, if we don't, then we gonna have to stop anyway. So like I had a forced stop, like a few months ago when I was off of work. And had I listened and just paid attention to my body more, then I probably wouldn't have had a forced stop, if that made sense. But I thought I was persevering, but I was running my body into the ground, honestly.
And you know what? And that's what I was trying to get to as it pertains to that ain't perseverance. You're doing everything that you can in your power to ignore everything, having tunnel vision. As who was that who just said that? Corey says, so crazy how major things can be easily neglected when we're tunnel vision. That's not perseverance.
Mm,
That's not perseverance. Not now, it could be a thing where, yes, you're focused. Yeah, we can call that focus. Hmm. But the thing about perseverance, there is also a place called balance.
mm,
One thing that I have realized as it pertains to uh, perseverance is just the willingness to acknowledge the truth
mm.
about the situation.
Okay.
I want to pause on that for a second. Danielle said, excellent point, Tina. Eventually, you are going to have to handle the nagging things. I don't want to be forced to rest. Sabbath is a command, not an option. Absolutely. Yeah. Because let me tell you something, you going to rest. You are going to rest. Um, Sunshine said, I've learned to listen to my body or else God will sit me down and not always in a comfortable way. Let me tell you something about when the Lord sits you. And this ain't one of them sit down at my right hand while I make the enemies your footstool. We ain't talking about that. We
Okay.
talking about that literal, you laid up looking at the lights. Whether that's in the back of the ambulance or over there at the Mercy Hospital or somewhere. Uh, Hoping that the hospital have mercy on you and don't take you out with a mercy unalignment. Um,
Mm.
yeah, Micah, I saw you. I still want to verbally acknowledge you, appreciate you coming into the space. As always, we appreciate your presence. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. We're just talking about a little perseverance. One of the things that I noticed was, and I must be very transparent. I had to take an evaluation about how I saw perseverance because I was used to the grind culture, the hustle culture, which is eh, uh um get rich or unalive trying. You know what I'm saying? One of those kind of concepts or mindsets of you just go until you can't go anymore. You just do, you work your fingers to the bone. No, I want the skin on my fingers. Let's debone. Well, now I don't want to lose the bone. I want my fingers. I don't want to work them to the bone. Sometimes the truth of the matter is I may be avoiding something. And that's why I'm continuing to work so hard, to push myself so far. It could be something I'm aiming at that doesn't have anything to do with what I actually need to be doing. Like trying to run on a broke leg if you want to. Talking about something, I got to, I'm pressing on. No, there ain't no pressing on. Ain't no pressing your way through no broke leg. That's a moment to pause. That's a moment to regroup. That is a moment to get some help. And sometimes we can ignore the broken things within us. Sometimes we can ignore the things that are troubling us. That trouble is there for a reason. That troubling inwardly is there for a reason. It is a sign that you need to pay attention to whatever it is that's going on. Daniel said it's almost like we have a mindset that tells us we have to earn or work hard enough to
Mm.
have rest as a reward. Now, that's ingrained into this society that we have. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it just he just I get the concept of um if one doesn't work, they ought not eat. I do get that. I most certainly get that. You know. On the other hand, um work hard, play hard is another thing that people say. Um, what I have come to find out is who's the person that's benefiting off of you doing all that grinding? Who's the person that's the benefiting off of you doing all of that work? How often have you shut down your own mind, your own pain, uh, just just for the sake of not even necessarily making a good impression, but making sure that you cross every T and dot every I.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're wrapped up in perfection. You're wrapped up in, oh Lord, you're wrapped up in um so many things. And so I think about that as it pertains to um just coming to the place that you need to about really being honest about what's going on. I've learned about myself as it pertains to perseverance that sometimes my issue is I've been leaning on people already. I've
Mm-hmm.
depended on people already. Uh BOK said, I know I'm guilty of pushing it to the nine. I'm not even sure if I could turn down if I wanted to.
Mm.
Um you can if you can. You will eventually, but you can. I think about that because sometimes we can find the emergencies of our lives to be, we will categorize, prioritize, and rank our emergencies
Mm-hmm.
of everyone else but us.
Mm.
Here I come to save the day, cape on, boots on, rhinestone gauchos, cowboy hat ready to go. When it's all said and done, you will rescue everybody but you.
Mm.
You will come to the aid of everyone but you. But
Mm.
you're the one that's walking around with the nagging thing in the back of your head. Corey says, can we break down hustle culture? Like, how did this start? Who benefits from the hustle culture when you eventually burn out? Hustle culture, man. How can I say this without ah,
We
because it
think
sounds
too.
like it's about to get offensive, and that's what I don't want to do. But what I can say is sometimes you have to trace back to who's benefiting the most from the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Who was benefiting the most? Because uh, if truth be told,
Mm-hmm.
I took an economics class once. And I think it was one time I took a course in commercial cleaning or something, but they were teaching something about economics. They said that you must work smart and not hard. Work smart, not hard. And I was like, okay, whoop de doo. But at the time, mm, I was a, I was athletic, and because I was used to kind of pumping iron and jumping and doing it, because I played basketball and all of the things back in the day. And so when the my instructor said work smart, not hard, I was like, what you mean? If you can do it, you do what you gotta do. And well, of course, that didn't sound that smart, but my thing was my mindset was by any means necessary. But by any means necessary wasn't always what was necessary. And so people would find different ways to be able to do the same thing, but with less effort. Me, on the other hand, I was just used to getting it done quickly, not realizing that there were others that didn't have my capabilities. And so they needed something like someone that is taller than me. I'm 5'8", um, which is short playing basketball, but I was still, hooping a little bit back in the day. Um, but if I'm guarding someone that is 6'5", 6'7", that's not gonna be a good matchup for me at 5'8". The person is almost a whole foot taller than me. With that being the case, you have to take into consideration that this person has a reach way further than I can do way more, got better vision without even trying to jump or anything across the whole floor just because their vantage point is completely higher than mine. So I don't even get to see what they see at their vantage point because I'm so short in comparison to them. Um, with that being the case, I think about the fact that how hard it would be for me to have to guard that person. Somebody passes them the ball, and I got to keep them from shooting. I got to keep them from shooting over my head, or even worse, dunking on me, because women could dunk. They didn't might not have did it often, but there are plenty of them that, and it's even more now than it was when I was playing ball. But I'm like, I can't stop them. I can't reach their arms. Unless I'm jumping in the sky. And by then, I didn't call a foul. I'm not on the bench because I didn't jump somebody and then rolled their back trying. It's like some of the guys who used to play against Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal. They would be jumping all over him. He was too strong. He was too tall. He was too big. There's nothing they could do with him other than, as they used to call it, hack a Shack. To foul him and hope that that would keep him from scoring. And I'm like, what kind of things are we hacking at? What kind of things have we found ourselves in situations and stuff that we can't really deal with, but we go at it anyway? So there are sometimes we could take on more than we could chew. Um, all for the sake of I'm playing the game. I'm doing the things. And now you got 15 jobs, you know, working 19 hours a day, maybe sleeping in the car or something. You take maybe a couple hours to take a shower because you'd have fell asleep in there. That's why it took you a couple of hours. You just slept till the water got cold. And then you got out and went back to work. All because of this thing called hustle culture. I got to get it. I got to get it. I got to do it. And we'll tie our value into that on
Mm,
top of that. We'll tie our value, and society will tell you that, um, they will tell you, oh, that's a nice hard working man. Oh, he works so hard. And I'm like, is that really a pat on the back? I'm not saying be lazy. I ain't saying be trifling. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, yes, we should work, but should we be working the way that we have been?
no. Well,
No.
no. That's why I'm like, it kind of seemed like it's a trick though. Because like I'm gonna be honest with you, like that junk had me at one time like working like three different jobs, feeling like if I wasn't working all three, that shoe like I'm lazy or something. Cause like everybody that like that society make it seem like you just gotta keep going, that you just gotta do it. And if you don't, then what?
Mm. I mean, because this is what happens. Eventually, you find out that you can't, and you find
Right.
out why you can't. Like the analogy I was using about playing that basketball. Um, it is not a pat on the back to overwork. Exactly, cuz. Uh, um,
Okay.
mm-mm. Or when women work themselves into the ground, they get celebrated. She was a hard working woman. And then now she didn't had a heart attack because she working just as hard as the men,
Right.
you know. Um, and so I think about the fact that even when it comes to some of the stressors, and I'm still gonna segue back to the thing about what we talking about? Perseverance.
Perseverance.
Um
Cause trying to start.
oh, because try to start something. Humanity takes an L. Capitalism wins. I
I'ma
was
tell
trying to
you
stay
right,
out of there.
cuz.
I was trying to stay out of there. Yes,
I'ma tell
Anthony,
you
if you
right.
don't work three jobs and own multiple businesses, then you're lazy. I'm like, oh my God, that's the standard now.
Literally, Q baby. Literally. Now I'm the lazy one. Now I'm the brokey.
Now let's look at that from the other standpoint of what is it that you're trying to achieve that causes you to go and see about everybody but you? Why are
Mm.
you hustling yourself? What are you running away
Oh,
from?
an award.
A reward? Is that an award?
Right.
Or are you neglecting something? Are you running away from facing something?
Mm.
Because I'm going to tell you something about that whole I'm going to get busy to keep from feeling pain.
Mm-hmm.
So I put my pain in another place because at least that's the pain that pays me. Just for you to be in pain emotionally and mentally and physically all at the same time. I've been there. I literally nearly worked myself into disability
Mm.
on the grind. Still, and I ain't talking about this was 10, 15 years ago. I literally nearly worked myself into a disability and have had to have surgeries, procedures, injections,
Mm.
medication ever since because I would not learn the lesson of the Sabbath, of resting, of taking the time off when I could take the time. I had off days and I would work them, work all of them.
Ouch.
I was off on holidays. Everybody was like, "We got any volunteers?" Yes, I want that check. Uh-huh. Need them coin.
You said it. She took like,
Uh-huh.
yes, I want
Yeah.
that check.
Yes, need them coin. I need the coin. That coin got me sat down
Mm.
just yesterday. Because now I got to get all in my business. Yesterday I was at the wake. God supernaturally gave me the strength to go. I wasn't gonna go. And y'all know those are, my nephew passed on the 14th. Wasn't able to have his funeral and stuff till today. I didn't go to the funeral, but I had the strength to go to the wake yesterday. And what ended up happening was, here it is, supernaturally strengthened for the moment. And when it was all over, and I went home, and my body started breaking down.
Mm.
Pain everywhere. I'm out in the cold, so every piece of every tendon, every bone ached, everything ached big time. And so I couldn't do anything until like 3 o'clock today when I started feeling a little looser because I had to get in front of some heat and do all the things and drink some water and whatnot because I needed to hydrate anyway. But it was one of those things where I think about it. All of this of which I'm experiencing is because I was hustling myself. And I'm finna tell it. I'm finna tell it, and I'm mad that I'm finna tell it because I ain't want to tell it, but I'm sure finna tell something. I'm finna get in my business. And the bell has rung for the
Business
business. For the
time.
tea. Tea is coming into the room right now. I don't want to tell this, but I sure got to tell it. I was told by somebody one time, this is before I started, I have the job that I have now, that I still employed, but I ain't been working over a year. I still get paid, but it ain't like when it's a big difference especially when you used to work at overtime and whatnot. Hello, huh? Them overtime checks, huh? Huh? And I was getting, I ain't finna go on all that, but I was making me a couple of dollars. I was making me a couple of dollars, and and what ended up happening was it was the thing that I was chasing because someone said that I was doing nothing with my life. I had been in a position where I was taking care of some children. I was a caretaker for several people. I was hustling still. I mean, now, not the kind of hustling where I'm out there slanging and swanging and slanging other people slanging and things. I wasn't doing all that. But what I was, oh God, that was loaded. But what I was doing was, I was in school at the time. I was going to seminary. I was going to school and I was doing all the things, cutting hair, just a lot of. I have a lot of skills, several different skills. So, I'm not gonna do the laundry list of the stuff I know how to do. It's just I had to learn how to do something other than going to jail. Hello, because 9 to 5s wasn't cutting it. I wasn't. Good thing I wasn't on parole, so I could do what I want to do. That was legal. And so that was my life for a nice portion. I'd say about 8 years. I went without clocking in anywhere. And so during that time, I learned how to do all the things. What I didn't, I honed in on the skills I had. I'm out there painting stuff. I'm painting people houses, rooms, and stuff. I'm cutting hair. I'm braiding. I'm taking care of kids. It's just the whole 9 yards. I'm just doing it. I'm putting on clothes. I'm taking care of the elderly people. I'm over there sitting with folks. It was a lot that I was doing. Detailing cars, all that, and the list goes on and on. But I'm not going to go through all that. And then I hear someone say I was wasting my life
Mm.
because I didn't necessarily have a career. I'm not finna say what I was doing, but I was active. I put it that way. I was active and I was active in the church. So my life at that time, I felt like it embodies, what I believed in. I'm making sure that I'm doing the right things, that I'm not out here, slanging and swanging things out here, in the streets. And And I ain't cutting knucking and bucking with nobody. I ain't got nobody breaking it off, the illegal way. And so, or having people to break themselves, that's even worse. None of it is good. But what I'm saying is, um, jack of all trades, master of none. Well, I mastered a few things. I'm pretty good at some of the stuff I did. But what I can say was when it came to what that 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 one word, that one thing that the individual said to me, put me on a path to chase after every dollar I could on a job,
Mm.
working for the people. Do I want to say that? I was working for the government. I'll put it that way. And that's a whole testimony in itself. How in the world I go from working being an inmate to working in government, that's crazy. But the Lord
But
did, and all of that is crazy too. But what I can say is this: is that and no, it ain't no snitching job. But what I'm saying is, because I ain't no informant. Um, I had to say, I'm sorry, y'all. You just got to deal with me today. What I could say is it sent me on a pathway to hustling. Like every opportunity, I was gonna make sure I didn't care what nobody had going on. I
mm,
had a whole somebody I was responsible for, and they was like, "Do they ever let you out work? I gotta go to work. Do you ever take out? I gotta go to
mm,
work." Every time
mm,
they turn around, and then I'm talking about the kind of work I was doing. I was staying going for days at a time,
mm-hmm.
like 4, 5, 6, 12, 10, 10, 12. I think 12. I stayed at I think I stayed 12 days on the job once. Like, and didn't go home. I was just there, and uh I see you, JR. Appreciate you for stopping in, coming in. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. I almost forgot where I was. I almost started saying all kind of stuff right then. But so glad that you decided to hang out with us tonight. While we getting ready to wrap up and get out of here. But like I was saying, that one thing that a person said to me, that was what I was running from. Ain't nobody gonna tell me I'm throwing away my life. I'm gonna show you how to do it. This is how it should be done. What's the mindset that I had? And it was that mindset, that thing that was nagging at me, that ate away at me. And rather than me confront it, talk about it, get it off my chest, discuss it with somebody, have some therapy, something. Instead, I internalized that thing and it had me on one of the most destructive paths of my life to date. And I've been on some destructive paths. Hey, because I've been pew pewed at. I have been hit before, with the pew pew. And so when I tell you I've been through a few things like I have, but I'm as far as me trying to live a life that was conducive or live a life that was meaningful or live a life that was um trying to be a good, what they call them, a good member of the society or whatever, a productive member of
Yeah. In
society.
society.
Yeah, was what I was trying to do. And in the process, I'm like, it ain't illegal to work overtime. It ain't
Right.
illegal to get these coins. If they offering it to me, if they're offering me the different positions, and if I'm moving up and all of that, and I'm increasing this, and they're preparing me and grooming me for higher positions and things of that nature, and I'm able to work solo and travel, and I was doing a lot of things, and all it did was wear my quarters out.
Mm.
So now I'm in a place where, and I thank God for his mercy
Thank you,
and
Lord.
his grace to allow me to not be in a wheelchair, because that's where I was headed. And I'm trying my best to stay away from a cane right now. Probably, yeah, I ain't gonna tell no story. I probably should be walking with one now. But that's the thing. How many times have we been running from something? Something somebody said to us, something someone did to us. My quarters, my hind quarters. I wore my hind quarters out. That's what I was saying. These quarters, I wore them jokers out without it working. But anyway, I digress. La la. So glad that you decided to hang out with us tonight. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. We will be leaving shortly, but I'm glad that you decided to step on in. And with that, I might add, if you don't mind, since you come in, I don't know how long you've been here now because I wasn't paying attention. I'm over there looking into the sky, thinking about all this crazy stuff, and all the fact I'm telling you all my business. Um, um, but what I mean to say, greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. If you don't mind, be kind and rewind one time for your girl. And see what we were saying or not. Don't make me no difference. You can just run it in the background if you want to. But what I can tell you is, as it pertains to the things that we run from, the things that were nagging us on the back end, had somebody said, "Hey, you hustling yourself, and you
Mm.
can't, and that's unsustainable. You can't keep doing that." Right on vegan bone. All right. I saw somebody said they had some vegan pork chops, but the bone was in. That I didn't think they was vegan. Um, but what I could tell you is this. Um, Sometimes you can see it on our faces. Yeah, we're doing all the things, but you can hear it in our voices. Hey, agree to disagree. So glad that you decided to hang out with us. I see you. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the chat. But what I can tell you is, in all of that, me trying to get, it takes me to the scripture, and all that getting, get understanding. I was getting all I was getting, but I didn't understand how detrimental that was going to be. So sometimes I can be on here, and I'm going through something right now. The reason why I slowed down the pushing out of content is because I recognize I'm hurting.
Mm.
I recognized that the blow I just took on the 14th of my nephew's passing, it hit and it hurt bad.
Mm.
I wasn't even too sure about things when I first came into the this month this year. Because I was like, where am I headed? What am I trying to do? I'm trying to do some new things. I added on some new things at the end of last year as it pertains to content, and because one individual canceled, I decided, well, I'll pick back up on things come January. But then this thing happens and it wipes me almost completely out. I was like, I'm still sticking with the Saturdays of doing this content as it pertains to intentionally random. But it was still one of those things where I'm like, I'm not myself.
Mhm.
It's hard to pick up the pieces. And so
Mm.
some of you all are pushing yourselves to show up. And it's nothing wrong with trying to show up. I get that.
Mhm.
Yes, I've been locked up before. Agree to disagree. I sure have. Did 4 years, 5 months, 13 days in the penitentiary. If you check some of my content out, you'll hear that several times. Um, but one thing that I could say is, and that was the penitentiary, not jail, prison. I went to prison. Felonies. So when it comes down to the thing of recognizing where you are, that nagging sensation, that thing in the back of your mind that's plaguing you, that's showing up in your voice, huh? It's showing up on your face.
Mm.
Uh-huh. Everybody may not be able to see it because not everyone has the same ability as it pertains to perception or, I'm not going to go to the cognitive, whatever, because I don't have the language for that. But I could say it's discernment. I know that word if I don't know nothing else.
Hello.
Everyone does not have that ability. But what I can tell you is that
Mhm.
somebody notices.
Wow.
I'm not saying that to beat up on you. I'm saying that because I understand. The truth is something needs to be faced. The truth is you're not the only one hurting,
Mhm.
and it's okay to acknowledge it. Even if it's not acknowledging it on here, Because this is not the platform. YouTube is not always the platform for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a time and place, even if you are going to share, because sometimes we have to be in healed places to be able to discuss things. I couldn't have this conversation about my nephew, about his death, unalignment, that went on with the Lord. Whatever did they have when he left here yesterday? I couldn't have had that conversation yesterday necessarily because of where I was emotionally. But today I can. Sometimes we have to say, okay, I might can't deal with this right now,
Mm.
but let me make plans. Let me schedule some appointments. Let me see what homegirl can do for me. Let me see where Bestie is. Where my coach is at. Thank you, big uh Big Illy. Big Illy. Okay.
797.
I know, right? Appreciate you. And greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. Um, but that's the thing about, let's face the music, y'all. Let's be willing to come to that place where we recognize the difference between perseverance and hustle.
And
Because
surviving.
it is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Know the difference between surviving and living.
Mm-hmm.
Recognize when, oh, by Torian. Oh, okay then. I appreciate that. Him sending, he always sending the love this way. And that baby don't do not a piece of content.
Oh,
Um, he's just a great supporter. And I say this because sometimes we could go through things that are so heavy. And all of it don't have to be this happened the other day or this happened last week. Sometimes we can be carrying things and we can have a trigger from something that happened to us when we were little.
mm-hmm.
But it feels just as fresh as if it happened, you know, the other day. All I'm saying is that you have support if you're willing to reach out. Now, I would, if some of your support system is on the internet, just use some wisdom, you know. If you want to talk to somebody, get you some Google Voice or something, that way you don't have all your business out.
Why use some wisdom?
Yeah, absolutely use some wisdom,
Please.
because not everybody is a monster. On the other hand, it's one of those things, yeah, but make sure you got your coins locked up because you don't know that you might be
Right.
triggering to some people.
Right.
Who knows? But what I can say is we see you. Those who can see, we see you. And we see you from the place of empathy because we've been there.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to move forward. We all want to get through these hard spaces victoriously. We all want to have some semblance of peace,
Mm-hmm.
but don't allow yourself to hustle yourself. Whew, Lord have mercy. My mother is ending her journey, so I do understand. Yes, I definitely. Whew, Lord have mercy. Um, Most certainly prayers for you in the situation of which you're experiencing. Transition is a hard place
Mm.
for a lot of us. I don't know anybody that's like, oh yeah, get on out of here, but not and they love you. Um, and so I think about that as it pertains to, we all have to take a moment to deal with that little kid. It's tapping us on our leg, that's kicking in the floor, and also about the spaces that eventually goes on autopilot. Because
Mm.
if you don't deal with that stress, if you don't deal with that nagging, sometimes that kicking and screaming is you having a nervous breakdown. You still alive, you still kicking, but you're not functional, laying in the floor kicking. Sometimes it's you going on autopilot, the thing that you're not paying attention to.
Mm.
And you're going and you're trying to do all the things, and next thing you know, you're waking up somewhere because you passed out from the stress, from the heartache, from the pain. It becomes overwhelming. Sometimes we're doing too much. And yeah, you say you don't know how to stop. And of course, I ain't picking on nobody in this chat when I say that. Because again, as I speak to you, I speak to myself. Because I'm working through it too. I don't want nobody to think, oh, she done made it. I don't know how to do this. No, baby, I ain't made nothing. I'm making steps. That's what I'm making.
Hello.
I'm making steps. I'm actively involved in trying to heal
Mm-hmm.
because I want to be made whole too. I don't want to be broken either. I love her so much. I can't let her go. It hurts, but she'll be with me in spirit. Yes, indeed. And so I just want to, as we end, because I don't want to go any too much further than where we are now. Um, be willing to tell the truth about your situation. First, start with yourself and just admitting you're hurting. I know we like to be, the strong one sometimes and take on all of the things and have the whole mindset of I got this and I'll be all right. And we don't want to treat ourselves like that, and we don't want to train other people to treat us that way either.
Mm-hmm.
So I just admonish you to take the time to separate that perseverance, or at least be willing to examine it. Is this perseverance that I'm looking at, or am I really running from something? Is something chasing me down? Have I set some goals that and some 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 things and have unrealistic expectations of myself, trying to be all I can be, sometimes for somebody else? Can we take a moment to be who we need to be for us? One of the best questions I ever had posed to me was by my best friend not too long ago. And she knew it was right after my nephew's passing.
Mm-hmm.
I had just got the news, and I was explaining to her that I was screaming at the top of my lungs, and those who have heard it, it was a whole thing on it on my page. But I was telling her I was just crying and screaming at the top of my lungs and just in a whirl of tears, and I stopped completely because I started feeling pins and needles in my body. I had gotten so stressed and was crying so hard that I
Mm.
was like, oh, I don't like the way that feel. That feels dangerous. And so what I can tell you at this moment is that sometimes we must be willing to say, hey, uh, going back to what uh, she said to me these words: when are you going to take care of you? When are you going to recognize that your mental health is important? Well, I'm out here trying to be a superhero and put the cape on to be there for everybody else. When was I going to take a moment to just
Mm.
take care of myself?
To see about Tina.
To see about Tina.
Thank you, best friend, for asking Tina that.
Hmm.
Very valid question. And I'm so happy.
Hey, Miss G. So glad that you decided to hang out with us. And we're rolling out right now within the next 3 minutes. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapters. And if you be so kind to rewind one time for you, girl, you might be able to pick up something that you like or can use. Appreciate you for hanging out with us tonight. Um, but is there anything that you wanted to say, Anthony's?
I have nothing to add. You have really, thank you. I really needed this, even though we discussed things like I be needing this stuff. Like, I honestly cannot believe like today is the 31st. I can't believe we like are going into February. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I'm a little happy because I feel like this month went by so fast. But even though it don't seem like it, It was a lot. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all look at my shorts and I know I smile and I look like everything be okay, but it was a lot, y'all. So I'm just like, you know what? Thank you, God, for seeing me through, and I'm looking forward to February. So in February, I'm I plan on to persevere. Like I'm gonna keep going, but just a little differently, like in a different way. So I hope y'all do the same. Like if you just barely made it through this month, or you just survived, like in February, we doing something different. We can always, I'm doing something different, y'all. It's okay. It's okay, y'all. It's okay for me to change my mind. I'm changing my mind again, y'all. Realigning, doing something different. But that's it.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely gonna do something different. Um, I'm appreciative to for all of you all to coming into this space. And despite all of the twists and turns of this conversation, I hope you were able to get something out of this. Um, because while we always have the question of how do I do this? If you don't do something, you won't be able to do anything.
Mm.
Yes, we want to move forward. Yes, we want to keep going. Yes, we got all of the talent, all of the resources, all of the things, you know. We know how to say the right thing, when to say it, how to say it, and smooth. So we smooth out here. But at the same time, where's your community when it's time for you to receive? Well, that's all I got for y'all tonight. I'm glad that you all decided to hang out with us. Um, I love that, Tina. I said what I said. I so appreciate you. Anytime I see you, I appreciate you for coming into the space. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. We on our way out of here. Um, but I most certainly believe that if it's nothing else that you got out of this, be willing to face the truth about yourself. And from there, you can assess what kind of help you need or where you can get some help from. Because even if you talk to somebody and they can't help you, hopefully you got somebody in your circle that can point you in the right direction. Thank you all for coming out. Know that I'm sincerely praying for all of you all that have had some losses, are experiencing the transition of loved ones, that are experiencing the weight of burden, period. Because we could be burdened with so many different things. Thank you all for coming out. And like I say always, at least on this channel, God bless you. Good night. Bye.
Bye.